Life often whispers to us in ways we don't immediately understand. We plan, we struggle, we chase, but the truth is, the moment you let go of fear and begin to trust the universe, everything shifts. Trusting the universe does not mean sitting idle, waiting for miracles to arrive. It means aligning yourself with the flow of life, knowing that each challenge, each detour, and each delay carries a hidden blessing. It means believing that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. The best time of your life is not tomorrow, not someday. It is now. The present moment holds the seeds of your future, and when you embrace it fully, the universe begins to open doors you never imagined existed. When you trust deeply, you stop forcing outcomes and start receiving guidance. You begin to see signs where others see coincidence. You walk with clarity where others walk with doubt. That is when your real journey begins. Not the journey of chasing, but the journey of becoming. Remember, the universe is not against you. It is shaping you, refining you, and preparing you. What seems like a loss may actually be a redirection. What feels like silence may actually be guidance. When you learn to trust this process, life stops being a struggle and starts being an unfolding. Your greatest journey will not be about controlling life, but about surrendering to it. Trust the universe, trust the timing, and most of all, trust yourself. Because the best time of your life is already here, waiting for you to claim it. Trust unlocks clarity. At first, these words may sound simple, even ordinary, but when you truly sit with them, they hold the essence of life's greatest wisdom. Most people spend their lives walking through a fog of uncertainty, constantly questioning themselves, their choices, and their future. They wonder if they are on the right path, if the decisions they made yesterday will lead them to a better tomorrow, and if the universe has a place for them in the grand design of life. This endless questioning creates anxiety, fear, and hesitation. Yet the fog begins to lift the moment you allow trust to take root in your heart. When you begin to trust the universe, trust your journey, and trust yourself, clarity begins to appear where once there was only confusion. Clarity is not about knowing every detail of what will come next. It is not about seeing the full map of your future laid out neatly before you. Instead, clarity is the gentle realization that you are exactly where you need to be at this moment, even if you don't fully understand why. It is the confidence that your life is unfolding in perfect timing, that the lessons you are learning are essential, and that the challenges you face are shaping you for something greater. This kind of clarity cannot be forced by overthinking or by obsessing over every choice. It arrives naturally when you release the need to control everything and begin to trust that there is a larger intelligence guiding your path. When you live without trust, every decision feels heavy. You find yourself second-guessing, doubting your worth, and fearing failure. You may hesitate to take opportunities because you are afraid of making the wrong move. You may cling to the past because you are uncertain of the future. This lack of trust blurs your vision, making even the simplest choices feel overwhelming. But when trust enters, the weight lifts. Suddenly, you no longer need to have all the answers because you recognize that the answers will come when you are ready. You no longer need to control every outcome because you believe that life is aligning in your favor. This shift is what transforms confusion into clarity. Think of trust as a key that unlocks a hidden door. Behind that door lies perspective, understanding, and peace. When you walk through it, you begin to see that the challenges you resisted were actually guiding you, that the delays you hated were actually protecting you, and that the heartbreaks you endured were shaping you into someone stronger and wiser. Trust allows you to step back and see life from a higher vantage point where every experience holds meaning. Without trust, you remain trapped in the details, tangled in doubts and fears. With trust, you rise above and see the bigger picture, and that is where clarity is born. Clarity is not the same as certainty. Certainty demands absolute proof and guarantees, which life rarely gives. Clarity is deeper. It is the knowing that even if you cannot predict the outcome, you are still moving in the right direction. It is the calm that whispers, this moment has a purpose, even when you cannot see what that purpose is. Trust builds this inner knowing, and as trust deepens, the fog of uncertainty fades away. Decisions become easier because you are no longer driven by fear of what might go wrong, but by faith in what feels right. There is also a profound connection between trust and intuition. Intuition is the inner voice of the universe speaking through you, but when you doubt yourself, that voice is drowned out by noise. You second guess, you hesitate, and you lose touch with your inner guidance. Trust clears the noise. It allows you to hear the whispers of intuition, those gentle nudges that lead you toward the right people, places, and opportunities. With trust, intuition grows stronger, and with intuition, clarity becomes your natural state. You no longer search desperately for signs because you begin to notice that they were always there waiting for you to see them. Consider how a river flows. It does not resist the rocks or fear the bends in its path. It trusts its direction. Because of this trust, it moves with clarity and purpose. Life asks us to do the same. When we resist, we create turbulence. When we cling, we create stagnation. But when we trust, the flow of life carries us forward with ease, and in that movement, clarity appears. We see which paths are ours to walk and which ones we must release. We recognize the people who belong in our lives and those who were only meant to teach us a lesson and move on. Trust transforms chaos into understanding and understanding into peace. Trust also brings clarity about who you are. So many people are lost not because they lack opportunities, but because they lack faith in themselves. They question their worth, their abilities, and their purpose. This constant self-doubt clouds their vision. Yet when you trust yourself, your instincts, your resilience, your capacity to grow, you begin to see yourself clearly. You stop comparing yourself to others and recognize that your journey is unique. You understand that your timing cannot be rushed and your path cannot be copied. This self-trust becomes the foundation for clarity in every area of life. Clarity, then, is not a destination but a state of being, and trust is what makes it possible. The more you trust, the more you see, the more you see, the more you trust. It becomes a cycle of expansion where your perspective widens, your heart opens, and your steps become lighter. Life may still present challenges, but instead of panicking, you meet them with understanding. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" That shift in perspective is the true definition of clarity, and it is born only when trust takes the lead. The present is power. It is the place where all of life unfolds, the single moment that truly belongs to you. Too often we live in the shadows of yesterday or in the fantasies of tomorrow, forgetting that the only time we can breathe, act, and create is now. The mind loves to wander. It replays mistakes of the past, keeping you trapped in cycles of regret. It projects fears into the future, filling your heart with anxiety about what has not even happened yet. In this constant tug of war, life itself is lost. The present moment slips away unnoticed, even though it is the only place where real change, real joy, and real freedom exist. To understand the power of the present is to awaken to the truth that everything you are searching for is already here. When you dwell on the past, you give your energy to something that no longer exists. The events have already passed, the choices have already been made, and the only thing that remains is your attachment to them. Carrying the weight of yesterday is like dragging chains behind you while trying to move forward. You may believe that reliving the past will give you clarity, but often it only deepens your wounds. The power to heal does not lie in going back, but in choosing now to release, forgive, and move forward. The present gives you that power. In this very breath, you can decide to stop punishing yourself for mistakes you cannot change. You can choose to learn from them, to extract the wisdom they left behind, and to use it to shape a stronger, wiser version of yourself. That choice cannot happen in the past. It can only happen now. The same is true for the future. Many people live in constant anticipation, waiting for the perfect conditions to be happy, waiting for a goal to be reached, waiting for the right person, the right job, or the right opportunity to appear before they allow themselves to feel alive. But the truth is, the future is an illusion until it arrives, and when it does, it arrives as the present. To sacrifice today for tomorrow that has not yet come is to trade real power for a dream that may never be. When you place your happiness in a future event, you delay your life. You convince yourself that fulfillment is always one step away, always just around the corner, and so you never fully live. The present is the only place where joy can actually be experienced, where gratitude can actually be felt, where love can actually be expressed. The power of the present lies in the fact that it is real. Think of a candle flame. It exists only in the moment it burns. The flame of yesterday is gone, and the flame of tomorrow has not yet been lit. Only the flame of now warms you, lights your path, and brings you comfort. Life is no different. The energy of now is the only flame you can use to illuminate your path forward. When you learn to focus on it, to be fully here, you begin to experience a kind of clarity and peace that cannot be found anywhere else. The present is also where your creativity lives. Every idea, every decision, every step toward your dreams must be taken in the now. You cannot write tomorrow's words today. You cannot take yesterday's actions back, but you can choose to act now, to create, to move forward. to take one small step in the direction of your vision. Procrastination robs you of this power. It convinces you that later will be better, that someday will arrive, that the conditions will eventually be perfect. But later never comes the way you expect. The conditions will never be flawless. The only time you truly have is now. By acting in the present, you reclaim your power from the illusions of waiting. Living in the present also teaches you to truly experience life. Have you ever eaten a meal without tasting it because your mind was somewhere else? Have you walked through a beautiful place without noticing it because you were replaying old conversations or worrying about the future? This is how most people live. Half alive, disconnected from the richness of the moment in front of them. But when you bring your awareness fully into now, everything becomes more vivid. Food tastes richer, conversations carry deeper meaning, laughter echoes longer, and even the simplest experiences become profound. This is not because life suddenly changed, but because you became present enough to feel it. The power of the present is also the power of peace. Worry lives in the future, regret lives in the past, but peace lives only in now. When you sit with the present, when you allow yourself to breathe into it, you realize that in this very moment, you are safe, you are alive, you are enough. The storms you fear have not arrived. The mistakes you regret are no longer happening. What exists right here is only this breath, this heartbeat, this chance to simply be. The more you anchor yourself in that awareness, the less power fear and regret hold over you. The present also holds the power of transformation. Every great change begins with a single moment of decision, and that decision can only be made now, whether it is choosing to take care of your body, to follow a dream, to end a toxic cycle, or to forgive yourself. The decision begins here. Waiting for the right time is another way of delaying your growth. The right time is always now, because now is the only time that exists. The person who embraces this truth begins to move with a kind of confidence and energy that others admire but cannot always understand. They seem fearless, but it is not fearlessness, it is presence. They understand that their power lies in what they choose in this moment, not in what they fear may come or regret has gone. Even relationships are transformed by presence. To truly listen to someone, to give them your full attention, to share a moment of laughter or silence without distraction, these are gifts of the present. Love cannot be stored up for tomorrow or replayed from yesterday. It can only be given now. When you bring presence into your relationships, they deepen. You connect more authentically, you understand more clearly, and you love more fully. The present is power because it is where you meet life itself. The universe does not ask you to control the future or rewrite the past. It asks you to show up here, to embrace this moment with open eyes and an open heart. When you do, you discover that what you have been searching for has always been right here. Not in what was, not in what will be, but in what is. And that is the essence of true power, to be fully alive in the now. Challenges are teachers. They arrive in our lives not to destroy us, but to shape us, not to break us, but to awaken us. Every obstacle carries within it a lesson that cannot be learned in comfort, a truth that cannot be discovered in ease. While the human mind often resists struggle, seeing it as an interruption or punishment, the deeper reality is that challenges are some of the greatest opportunities life gives us. They strip away illusions, push us beyond our limits, and reveal strengths we did not know we possessed. They test our patience, our resilience, and our faith, showing us who we truly are beneath the surface. Most people hope for a smooth, effortless life, one without setbacks or disappointments. Yet, if life were without difficulty, it would also be without growth. Just as muscles strengthen through resistance, the soul strengthens through challenges. Every hardship stretches us, forcing us to expand, to adapt, and to rise above what once held us back. Without these tests, we would remain the same, unchanged and unshaped. It is often in the darkest moments that we discover the brightest parts of ourselves. The challenge is the fire, and from that fire, a stronger self is forged. Consider how a seed must break before it can grow into a tree. From the outside, that breaking looks like destruction, but in truth, it is the beginning of life. Our challenges are like that breaking. They shatter the shells of our comfort zones, forcing us into new stages of growth. They demand that we shed old beliefs, outdated habits, and limiting identities. In the moment, it feels painful, confusing, and unfair, but looking back, we realize that without those struggles, we would never have become who we are. The breaking was never the end, it was the start of transformation. Challenges are also teachers because they reveal what we value most. When life is easy, it is simple to take things for granted. We assume our health will always be there, that relationships will always last, that opportunities will always come. But when difficulty strikes, we are reminded of what truly matters. Illness teaches us to value health. Loss teaches us to cherish love. Failure teaches us to appreciate success. Each challenge strips away the unnecessary and brings us face to face with the essential. In this way, challenges refine us, making us more grateful, more present, and more alive. There is also a hidden wisdom in how challenges arrive. They often come when we least expect them, yet precisely when we most need them. A door closes, and we are forced to look for another path, one that leads us to a destiny we would not have chosen otherwise. A betrayal teaches us to strengthen our boundaries and value our own worth. A failure humbles us, reminding us that growth is more important than perfection. Life seems harsh in the moment, but with time, we see that the challenge was not random. It was a lesson disguised as pain, a push towards something greater. Challenges test our faith in ourselves and in life itself. It is easy to believe when everything is going well, but real trust is forged when things fall apart. In those moments, the voice of doubt grows loud, whispering that we cannot endure, that we will never recover, that the weight is too heavy. Yet, every time we rise, every time we choose hope over despair, we prove those whispers wrong. We discover that we are stronger than we imagined, braver than we believed, and more resilient than we ever thought possible. Challenges teach us not only about the world, but about the vast potential within us. They also teach us compassion. Once you have faced your own struggles, you understand the struggles of others more deeply. You become less judgmental, more patient, more kind. The pain you endured becomes the bridge that connects you to others, allowing you to comfort, to guide, and to uplift. Challenges often feel personal, but their lessons ripple outward, shaping how you interact with the world. The hardship that once made you cry may later give you the wisdom to help someone else survive the storm. In this way, challenges create a cycle of shared strength and humanity. It is important to understand that challenges are not punishments. They are invitations. They invite us to grow, to evolve, to rise. They invite us to step beyond fear, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to step into our higher potential. When we see them this way, we no longer resist them with bitterness, but approach them with curiosity. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" we begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" That single shift in perspective transforms suffering into learning and learning into wisdom. Even nature teaches this truth. Diamonds are created under pressure. Stars are born from chaos. Rivers carve their path by overcoming resistance. Growth and beauty do not emerge in spite of challenges, but because of them. Life is no different. The very experiences we try to avoid, heartbreak, failure, rejection, loss, are the same experiences that shape our deepest wisdom, our greatest strengths, and our most powerful truths. Without them, we would never know the depth of love, the meaning of resilience, or the beauty of hope. Challenges remind us that we are alive. They shake us awake from the illusion of control and comfort, forcing us to engage fully with life. In the struggle, we learn presence. In the difficulty, we learn perseverance. In the loss, we learn gratitude. They do not make life easy, but they make life meaningful. Each challenge carries with it the seeds of transformation, waiting for us to recognize them, nurture them, and allow them to grow. Challenges are teachers because they are unavoidable, essential, and transformative. They meet us where we are and carry us to where we are meant to be. They strip us of what is false and reveal what is true. They push us out of comfort into courage, out of fear into faith, out of weakness into strength. Though painful, though difficult, though often misunderstood, challenges are among the greatest gifts life gives us, gifts that shape us into the people we were always meant to become. Surrender is strength. At first, the word surrender may sound like weakness, as if it means giving up, losing, or being defeated. But in truth, surrender is not about abandoning your dreams or letting life crush you. It is about releasing the illusion of control, letting go of resistance, and trusting the flow of life. Real strength is not found in fighting endlessly against what you cannot change, but in finding peace within it, and in that peace discovering a deeper power than force could ever give. So much of human suffering comes not from what happens, but from the way we resist it. We cling to how things should be, how people should act, how life should unfold. We push against reality, demanding that it conform to our expectations, and when it doesn't, we feel frustrated, angry, or broken. This resistance drains our energy and clouds our vision. Surrender is the moment you release that struggle and allow life to be what it is. In that release, you stop wasting strength on battles that cannot be won and redirect your energy toward what truly matters. That is not weakness, it is wisdom. There is a profound power in realizing that you do not need to control everything. Life is vast and unpredictable. Plans change, people leave, opportunities slip away, and storms arrive unannounced. You cannot stop these things from happening, but you can choose how you respond. When you surrender, you accept the reality of what is without collapsing under it. You stop fighting the waves and learn to ride them. You discover that surrender is not about drowning, but about floating. And in floating, you find that life can carry you farther than your resistance ever could. Surrender is also strength because it requires courage. It takes courage to release control, to step into the unknown, to trust a process you cannot fully see. Holding on tightly to old ways, familiar patterns, and rigid expectations may feel safe, but it is actually a prison. It keeps you trapped in fear, unable to move forward. Surrender, on the other hand, is an act of bravery. It says, I may not know what will happen next, but I trust myself to face it. I trust life to guide me. I trust that even if things don't unfold the way I imagined, they will unfold the way they need to. That kind of trust requires a strong heart, not a weak one. Think of a tree in a storm. A rigid tree, unwilling to bend, may break under the force of the wind, but a flexible tree, one that surrenders to the movement of the storm, survives. Its strength lies not in resistance, but in its ability to bend without breaking. Life's challenges are like storms, and if you resist too hard, you risk snapping under the pressure. But when you surrender, when you allow yourself to bend, you find resilience. You discover that surrender is not about defeat. It is about survival, growth, and grace. Surrender also opens the door to clarity. When you are obsessed with controlling outcomes, your mind becomes clouded with fear, stress, and endless calculation. You cannot see clearly because you are consumed with trying to force reality into your shape. But when you let go, when you surrender, the noise quiets. You begin to see possibilities you had missed before. You become open to new paths, new opportunities, and new ways of being. By loosening your grip, you allow life to guide you to places you could never have found on your own. So many breakthroughs come not from pushing harder, but from letting go. People often discover their deepest insights when they stop trying to figure everything out. They find love when they stop desperately searching for it. They find peace when they stop fighting their pain. They find purpose when they stop trying to control every step of the journey. This is the paradox of surrender. The more you let go, the more you gain. The more you release, the more space you create for life to bring you what you truly need. Surrender is also strength because it teaches humility. It reminds you that you are part of something greater, that you are not the sole architect of your life. You are co-creating with forces larger than yourself, with the flow of the universe, with timing, with destiny. When you surrender, you acknowledge that you do not need to have all the answers, that it is okay to not know, that it is okay to allow life to unfold. This humility is not weakness, it is alignment. It allows you to walk in harmony with life instead of fighting against it. Many people mistake surrender for passivity, but it is far from that. Surrender is active acceptance. It is the strength to face reality head on without denial, to adapt to it without collapsing, and to continue moving forward without bitterness. It is not giving up on life, but giving into life, allowing it to show you the way instead of insisting that you already know it all. This act of letting go requires immense inner strength, for it asks you to trust the unseen, to step into uncertainty with faith instead of fear. Even in relationships, surrender is strength. It is the ability to let go of the need to control others, to accept them as they are rather than forcing them into who you want them to be. It is the strength to release toxic connections instead of clinging to them out of fear of being alone. It is the courage to allow love to flow freely without trying to hold it too tightly. This kind of surrender creates healthier, more authentic connections because it is rooted in freedom, not in fear. Surrender also brings peace. When you let go of control, you let go of constant tension. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to fight. You stop exhausting yourself with endless resistance. Peace enters when you realize that life does not need to be perfect for you to be at ease. It enters when you accept that not everything needs to go according to your plan for things to turn out beautifully. This peace is not fragile, it is steady, grounded in the strength of surrender. Surrender is strength because it transforms the way you move through life. It shifts you from fear to trust, from control to flow, from rigidity to resilience. It teaches you that letting go is not losing, that acceptance is not weakness, and that trust is not naivety. It reveals to you that the strongest people are not those who never fall, but those who can fall, let go, and rise again with grace. Surrender does not take away your power. It reveals your deepest power, the power to trust, to adapt, to endure, and to align with the greater flow of life.